Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Amy. I go by Fiber Arts Amy here and on Instagram. Welcome to my new quilting channel. I apologize if you can hear the noise. One of my kids just decided to open the garage door. Anyway, this is take 3. We've had a lot of interruptions in the last 5 minutes. Welcome to my channel. Most of you who are here, I'm guessing for when this video is first going up, that you're probably here because you've come over from my other channel, which is just Fiber Arts Amy, where I discuss mostly cross stitch, but I've also put quilting videos up there, and I've just recently here decided it's time to separate out that content, which is why I've started the new channel. So this channel is going to be devoted primarily to quilting and maybe some sewing, because I also tend to do like bags and that sort of thing. So those of you who are only interested in quilting content, you can stay over here on this channel. Those of you who might only be interested in cross-stitch content can hang out at the Fiber Arts Amy channel, which is I'm gonna try to separate most of that quilting content out of that channel now. And those of you who are interested in both can subscribe to both and watch both sets of videos. So just a little bit about me, in case you're coming to this channel new. You might also be able to hear the serger in the background. I hope that's not too annoying. My husband's serging fabric. For those of you who don't know, I have a hand-dyed fabric company, Oak Crown Studios, where I dye cross-stitch and quilting fabric. And the cross-stitch fabric needs to be serged, and my husband is working on that for me at the moment so I can film. So where was I? Oh, so I started quilting about 20 years ago. I taught myself at first with a really inexpensive Brothers sewing machine that my mother-in-law kindly gifted me for either Christmas or my birthday one year. And I quilted myself for a couple of years, like just having taught myself. There was no rotary cutting or anything like that. It was like old school. And then we moved to Florida, and there was a local quilt shop that was really great and offered classes, and my husband used to buy me classes, and that's when I learned how to rotary cut and started learning from some great teachers, and it kind of all took off from there. Saw the difference between quilt shop quality fabric versus like big box store fabric, and yeah, never looked back. All of my hobbies, because I do have a lot, tend to kind of wax and wane over time, right? There's some times where I'm much more in quilting mode. Sometimes I'm much more in cross-stitch mode. But I've been actually enjoying both pretty heavily in recent years. But still there'll be some months where I do more quilting and less cross-stitch, and some where I do more cross-stitch and less quilting. I'm not intending to have a particular schedule for my videos on this channel. They're going to happen when I'm in the mood to do it and I feel like there's something to show. I have kind of an unofficial goal in my mind, I always have, of trying to put out a video about once a month, but that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you might get one, with only 2 weeks in between. Sometimes it might be 2 months. It just kind of depends. At the moment, so for the last several weeks, maybe a month, my quilting has been in a little bit of a lull. Again, if you came over here from FlossTube, you know this, but I have some pretty bad tendonitis in my elbows, and 2 problems with that. One is that wrestling large pieces of fabric, or even just sitting at the sewing machine for a long time, can be difficult, in part because I am sewing on a dining room table. It's a dining room table that's dedicated to sewing, but it's not like one of the nice ones where the sewing machine's sunk in and it's at a nice level and all that. So I'm up pretty high trying to sew, and it aggravates my elbow. Also, one of my favorite forms of quilting is English paper piecing, and I can't do that right now, which is kind of heartbreaking to me, because I'll show you in a few minutes, but I have a project that is getting so close to being done, and I was just moving along. Like the end was in sight after 4 years of working on this project. And and then it reached the point where it was obvious I really can't be English paper piecing anymore for a while. I need to let my elbow heal, and then I can get back to it. So anyway, so for the last month, there's been some quilting, but not a ton, because I'm trying to let my elbow rest, and I'm trying to find ways to craft that that like fill me up in that way, right, that allow me to quilt and whatnot, but aren't making my body hurt more. Well, that's it for now. I'm just gonna jump in. I'm very chatty. You'll see that as we go along. I should mention, if you are finding this channel first, if you want to hop over to my Fiber Arts Amy channel, and I'll link that below, there's a whole bunch of quilting videos over there. So if you find this channel first, but you want to see like more history, more what I've been working on, I have had kind of dedicated quilting videos over on that channel for a while, so you can go check that out. Okay, the first project I'm going to show you is one of the reasons my elbows are hurting so much. So I've been working on this for a while. This is the marquees quilt kit from Tula Pink, which is going to be very hard to show. I'm almost done. Let me see if I have anything I can stand on. I totally don't. So I'm just going to back way up. Okay. So it's got 4 rows of diamonds. There's the top row, the second row, third row, which is where it was last time I showed it in a quilting video. And I'm done. I am done with the bottom row of diamonds. I mean, this quilt is going to be, I think it's like 60-ish by 60-ish or 60 by 70, somewhere in that realm. I just need to do the gray and white. See how there's like gray and white sashing between rows? I just need to do the gray and white at the bottom. And I had already started it. I've got a thread hanging. But I actually sewed like 4 or 5 of those bottom diamonds in the space of like 2 weeks. I was like flying through this thing. Might be part of the reason why my elbow's hurting so much. So the whole elbow thing, just briefly, it's not just using the elbow joint that's the problem, and like holding things up here. It's the pinching with my hand. The pinching with my hand is what affects the elbow joint. If any of you have dealt with like tennis elbow or tendonitis or whatever, you'll understand what I mean. I have already taken the papers out of everything I can, just to make this like floppier and kind of easier to work with. I'll be taking it to a long armor when I'm done. These are all elongated hexagons. This came as a kit, a pre-cut, like the fabrics were pre-cut from Tula Pink years ago. And I was interested in English paper piecing, but I'd never really done it. And then during COVID, I picked this kit up and was like, all right, well, let's see if I actually like this. And it turns out I love it, which shouldn't be surprising because I am a cross stitcher. I love handwork. So this has just been a joy to work on. I'm very anxious to get it done, but I've had to, for the time being, set it aside. It's okay. My elbow will heal and I'll be able to get back to it. So that's that one. Freya came in. You see her? My stitchy chair. I'm in my library right now. This is like my stitchy spot. I've got like a rolling cart here full of projects and things, and then my chair's on the other side, and it's my goofball dog who doesn't know what to do with herself if she can't sit like curled up next to me. So Freya, stop digging. No digging. So I do take most of my quilts to a long armor, and I just have stuff stacked on this chair to show you. I'm just like going in the order of like what's on top. I take most of my quilts to a long armor, And I got a couple of them. I actually got 3 of them back recently, but one of them's already at our cabin. You'll hear me talk about our cabin. We do have a cabin that we like to spend a lot of time at. And anyway, a quilt that I had gotten back is already at the cabin because I specifically made it for one of my kids' beds at the cabin. But sometimes I film videos at the cabin, and the next time I do that, I'll grab it and show you. Okay, this quilt, which if you want to hear more about, like I have more of the information about the fabrics and stuff over on my other channel in previous videos, but I just got this one back from the Long Armor. I think I showed it when the top was done. It's like a twin size, or like a big twin size quilt. So it's got dinosaurs. So when we were on a road trip last summer, we were in a quilt shop and saw like the shop model of this quilt. And I have 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl. They're 14, 12, and 10. My 12-year-old saw this quilt and really loved it. Now, I saw and loved the fabric a lot. But then when my 12-year-old was like, Mom, have you seen the quilt? Because I was like, my kids are like mostly out of dinosaur phase. I don't need that. And then he was like, Mom, have you seen this quilt? It's so pretty. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll get it, make it for you. Because that's who I am. This is actually the first time I did the like mitered corner, like the borders like this, which actually was really easy to do. Once I read the directions, I was like, oh, that's simple. I don't know why I was worried about that, but they're just so pretty. I think the fabric line was from In the Beginning Fabrics, if memory serves. They're just so pretty. So my son went with me to the Long Armor to pick out the quilting design. I'm not sure what backing this is, so I tend to stash backings. I pretty frequently, because I do love making really big quilts, if I see a backing I like, sometimes I'll just buy a 3-yard cut of it, because I do like extra wide backings. I will piece a backing, but it's not my preference typically. So I have a stash of extra wide backing that I can use, but it seemed to suit the front. And my son wanted like a big leaf design, kind of like you would imagine existed back in like dinosaur times, and kind of like the leaves here. And I think it came out great. And he picked like a variegated green thread. I do use all cotton batting and stick to all cotton thread. I'm pretty firm on that. There's some Long Armors who only use polyester thread, and that means I don't use that Long Armor because I want cotton. Oh, you can see some of the leaves really well there. And the dinosaurs are upside down. Anyway, it was fun. It was a pretty simple quilt to make. It was a little, so these sorts of quilts where it's like from a panel, because these are clearly from a panel, can get me a little bit stressed out because I just, trying to cut it correctly, right, the measurements don't always, like if you're cutting by measurement, it doesn't always quite match up to where like the obvious break is in the panel. It just always feels a little tricky to me, but I don't know, it worked out great, and the colors are so vibrant and pretty. I'm assuming this is digitally printed, because there's just so many colors. But yeah, I love it, and my son loves it, which is way more important. It was fun to do. Okay, with my elbow hurting, one thing I turned to was doing more cutting. Okay, so I should explain again, since this is the first video of a new channel. I am not at a one at a time I've got dozens, if not hundreds, of quilting and sewing projects in some state of progress at any given time. And I do whatever I'm in the mood to do on any given day or in any given sewing session. sometimes I'm just in the mood to cut, and I will sit down and cut all day. Well, as all day as I can be, while also like parenting and running my business and all that. I'll get in a cutting mood and just do a ton of cutting. I don't usually get in a pressing mood, but sometimes I sit down and have a pressing session. I'm going to be having one of those here in the next few days. Sometimes I just want to sew. Sometimes I'm in the mood to finish something and be done with it, which is kind of where I am at the moment. Sometimes I'm in the mood to start all the things. It just depends. When something is getting really close to a finish, I'll usually sit down and knock it out. But otherwise, I'm just picking stuff up wherever I want to. So this is a quilt top that I'm currently trying to finish and knock out. It is almost done. It kind of looks good with my nails. Sorry, distraction. So this quilt top is not done yet, but I have a little more than half of it. I didn't bring in the other strips. So this is at the point where I'm just sewing the rows together with a sashing. Oh, this is going to be hard. Okay, I'm going to show it on its side. So this, wait, where am I? This block here is the center block. I love it with like the mint green. Okay, so one thing I love about this quilt is how some of the blocks, so this is the end. So some of the blocks are like cut off at the edge, which I've never done that before, but I really like how it's turning out. So there's a partial row at the bottom, and then there's going to be 3 full rows, and each row has 3 full squares and then like a half square block on, or 3 full blocks and a half block on either side. I think this quilt's like 80 something by 80 something when it's done. So I've got the partial row at the bottom, and I've got 2 of the rows, and then I need a sashing, another full row, a sashing, and a partial row. So it's almost done. I was working on it some yesterday, but it was bothering my elbow, so I stopped. So part of what is really fun about this quilt, at least for me, is that I dyed all the fabrics for it. So this is made out of Riley Blake's linen fabric. So they have linen in a few different colors. They used to carry a lot more. I don't know if it's on its way out or if they might bring back more. I'm not sure. But so they have this, they call it off-white, but it's essentially white linen fabric. And I took that and I dyed it a bunch of greens and blues and kind of grayish blue shades. And I saw my inspiration for this came from a magazine, which I didn't bring in here, of course, to show you. But it's from volume of Making. It's the forest issue of Making. I'll try to link that below. Making is no longer around as a magazine, but you can still find a lot of the back issues pretty easily. Anyway, I saw the quilt in Making, and then I wanted to make it a different size and do a little bit differently. And so I modified it. But yeah, I was thrilled. It was so fun to dye these myself. And that's what I do for my business, is dye fabrics. I love working with linen. This fabric is just so lovely. It's so lovely. And linen gets softer the more you work with it, the more you wash it. Anyway, so this I'm hoping to have done. I should have done by the time. So my Long Armor currently has actually an antique quilt top that I had purchased, a grandmother's flower garden that she's working on. By the time she's done with that, I should have this quilt top ready to take to her, as well as one other. I've been thinking about what backing to put on it. I do have a lot of extra wide quilt backs, but I keep going back and forth between doing that or piecing it back with the white linen. And I kind of can't make up my mind. One of the drawbacks to using the white linen, I guess I could dye some, but one of the drawbacks to using the white linen is just my quilts get used, like they get used. I have a couple of wall quilts but otherwise they get used. They get used, they get loved, they get thrown in the wash, they get dragged around on the floor, they get taken outside for picnics, they get taken in the car, like they're used. And I like that, but I tend to try not to put like white back of the quilt. Just trying not to like ask for trouble. Anyway, I'll figure it out. Something I worked on a little bit, but I found actually was hurting my elbow. So I took a break from where? Okay, well, here, I'll just show you the quilt first. So this, oh, I should have gotten a maker. I'm so bad at like keeping records and stuff. I have it written somewhere. If you want to know the maker, let me know. But there is this company. I'll try to remember to link it below because, yeah, I'll link it in the description box below. If you come on this video like right after it's gone up, those links won't be there in the description box. So if there's something you're looking for and it's not there, come back, a few hours later and it'll be up. And if it's not, then just ask. So I really enjoy doing these. I've done, I've completed one other one. So these quilt kits come as, these are like pre-cut fusible shapes. And you have like a map or like a grid for where those shapes go. And this one's an elephant. And it's done all, I can't see what you're seeing. It's done all with Tula Pink. All with Tula Pink fabrics. And I put it on, so this is a Liberty. So I not only dye using chemical dyes, I do a lot of natural dyeing. And I love doing indigo vats, which is like its whole own thing. So this is some Liberty fabric that was originally white on white that I dyed using an indigo vat. And I just loved the way it turned out and felt like it was a perfect background for my elephant here. So I'm just going around and doing this buttonhole stitch around the edges of the shapes, which is a lot because it's a lot of shapes. It's a lot of like weird, irregular shapes. That might be the only shape I've done. I think it is. I got it, like I said, I finally pulled this out. I did a stay stitch around the edge just to base my edges together. I'm going to figure out what quilting to do in the background. I have some ideas on that, but I did that one piece and it just hurt my elbow so much maneuvering the quilt that I decided I needed to give it a rest. And on the back is also my indigo dyed fabric. So anyway, we will see where that goes. I really want to get it done. I love it. I think I know where I want to put it. It's probably going to go on the wall, but can't do it with my elbow right now. Even like moving quilts around, like I can, like lifting anything, it's kind of hard right now. All right, what's next? All right, this is another quilt I got back from the Long Armor, and I love it. I love this thing so much. So this was, I'm so bad I didn't look up the name. This was a quilt kit from Fat Quarter Shop, done with the Catalina quilt line from Fig Tree Quilts. It's just 12 blocks of the same thing. I didn't follow the like map. So like they do, like you can follow the cover picture to figure out exactly where each fabric goes. I didn't do that. I put together my own combinations. This color, oh, it's just so good. I do love Fig Tree Quilts, their fabric lines. I like some of the older fabric lines the best, to be honest. Okay, this fabric, I wish I had a bolt of it. I love that fabric so much. I do a lot of different types of quilts in quilting. I I love Tula Pink. I also love like more traditional things. There's a lot that I enjoy. But lately I've been in like this kind of mood. Like, I don't know, this reads very like cottagey and cozy, and like the florals, I've just been feeling that a lot lately. So, anyway, I'm thrilled. I also, at the time, which is unusual for me, when I buy a quilt kit from Fat Quarter Shop, I almost never buy the backing kit because usually it's for a pieced backing. This time I did for whatever reason. So I went ahead and used it. My daughter loves this quilt, and I don't blame her because it's phenomenal. So anyway, I went searching. I was like, is there any more Catalina anywhere that I can get from Fig Tree? And it's an older line, so there's not, but I love it. Okay, I'm almost done. This is not going to be a very long video. I don't know if I'm almost done. I have a tendency to say I'm almost done and then talk for another like 30 minutes. We'll see. Okay, so this is something I started working on at Christmas, or like in the week leading up to Christmas. And I do want to knock it out here in the next few weeks. It's a very simple quilt. I don't have the picture to show you because it's on my phone, and I need to keep these in order, but because it's important, trust me. So these are fabrics from, I believe they're from Amiably True. It could be Acufactum, but I don't think so. I think those are mostly Amiably True fabrics. Some of them are Tildas. I'm pretty sure that one's a Tilda. I love Tilda. So I got this quilt kit from Got Quilts, which is one of the shops that I shop from somewhat frequently. They sell Tilda, they sell Acufactum, which are fabrics from Germany, have like a thicker hand, but they're just adorable. I love them. And Amiably True, which also tends to do a lot of these like cute animals and things, and I love them. So this was a line or set of lines that had, oh, sorry, upside down, all kinds of like woodland animals. Look at that, like mother fox decorating for Christmas. And the bear, oh my gosh, these are so fun. They're just so fun. So these get sewn together, maybe like that, something, to make blocks. You will see the finished quilt hopefully in my next video. I'm struggling to keep these in order, but I do need to. So there's just the bear. Look at with the clocks and the little teddy bears. They're so cute. Anyway, it's a quick and easy quilt with just these like irregularly shaped blocks, but it was kind of exactly what I needed right at Christmas time. I don't usually do a lot of like holiday quilts, but this is just another colorway, and I love this gingham. I like small scale ginghams. I'm not as big of a fan of big scale ginghams. Anyway, yeah, leading up to the holiday, I was in the mood to make a Christmas quilt, but something that was kind of quick and easy and wasn't going to, that I didn't need to devote like a ton of time to, that wasn't like fiddly, a lot of fiddly piecing or anything like that. So anyway, these are, I cut them, I did the initial sewing, they've been pressed, and now I need to sew them together to make the actual blocks. So there's just a little more sewing, pressing, sewing, pressing, sewing, pressing situation to go. But a really simple quilt. It's just basically blocks of these irregularly shaped kind of things put together. Kind of Turning 20-esque, if you're familiar with that quilt. Okay. Oh, this is something fun that I've been working on, but I'm having the same problem with it that I'm having with the elephant quilt. Pardon me while I get some water. I think one of my kids brought home like a cold or something. So I just have that like, and it's freezing here in Pittsburgh. I'm in Pittsburgh, and it's absolutely frigid. I should say today's like January 12th or something, 2025. We've had a lot of snow the last week. It's super, super cold. And anyway, just a little nasally and maybe a bit of a cold going on. Okay, so this I got inspiration from out of a book, which also I didn't bring down. I will. So basically this is going to be a tablecloth. And we're not usually a tablecloth family, but I love this idea so much that I was like, oh no, I have to do it. So I have a big stash. This background fabric I'm using, and this will end up being, I think I'm just going to serge it at the end. Right now it says selvage on. So this background fabric is one of those Riley Blake linens. It's actually a linen cotton blend. I want to say it's like 45% linen, 55 cotton, or the reverse, 55 linen and 45 cotton. I love this fabric. I really, really love the fabric, and I love natural fibers, and I love the look of natural fibers. So I have a lot of quilting cottons that I've dyed myself. So, our colors in our kitchen are purple. So I went through my stash of, purple fabrics that I've dyed, and I have lots of different shades. This one's just pinned in place. I have a couple of them sewn down. So, I went through my stash of purples and pulled out a color palette. And basically the idea is to have, I mean, this is huge because it's right to go over a table. But the idea is to have like layers of different sized circles appliqued across the center of the tablecloth. So they're not all over it. They're kind of like most dense in the middle, right? And then kind of fading out in different sizes. So these are all the largest size. I have some down to like a much smaller, like that size that'll end up going on, but I've got, I think, 4 or 5 different sizes. So my first task is to get down the biggest circles, because those will be on like the bottom layer. And so I have those just kind of scattered about and pinned. And I did this by, I don't know how you're supposed to do it per the pattern. I just saw the pattern and like jumped in, or saw the image for the pattern and jumped in and just kind of did it myself. So I did this by tracing a circle on, I actually use like a really thin, like cheap muslin, and sewing that to the fabric I want to use, and then cutting a slit in the back and putting it right side out. Some people know that as the Lori Holt method. It's a method that's been around for a long time though, so you might have learned it elsewhere. And then I'm just using a simple straight stitch to sew them down. So my daughter actually helped me pin them where I want them to go. But this is just kind of a lot of fabric to wrestle under or around the machine, as you have to like turn it. So probably have to wait until my elbow is a little more healed to make more progress on it. But I have this whole stack of purple circles that have been prepped and are impressed and they're ready to go. I just need to get this done, and my elbow to heal so I can get this done. And I don't like, sometimes so when I have lots of little pieces to something, that usually makes me motivated to work on it, because I don't, I feel like those little pieces are going to get lost. I know you haven't seen my sewing area, but it's just like, there's stuff everywhere. And I clean it frequently, but it doesn't matter. Very quickly, it becomes full of more stuff. Because I have so many projects, I just jump around a lot. And I'm going to cough. Excuse me. It might be a holdover too from when I had really little kids. I like live in fear that stuff's gonna like go flying. And I'm like not gonna be able to find it. Anyway. Okay. This is one of, if not my oldest whip. So I'll show you what I've done with it. It just needs the final borders to be pressed, and it'll be ready to go to the long armor. Okay. Back before I ever took a quilting class, I had bought these fabrics, these two fabrics from Joann's, and started making this quilt. And then I found Quilt Shop quality fabric, and this got like shoved aside. But I had done so much of it that I really wanted to finish it. So anyway, finally, I've been going through the last couple years, probably started a couple years ago, this like, oh my God, dig out an old whip and just get it done kind of mode. And I actually have gotten a ton of quilts done in the last couple of years by doing this. Some of the oldest quilts I've dug out and just knocked them out. It makes me very, very happy to do that. So this whole quilt is this. It's just this block repeating, and I love it. So I do like big quilts though. And I like quilts that can go on our bed. Quilts, like I said, in our house, they get dirty. They get washed a lot. You know, we eat in bed. Crumbs get everywhere. They get thrown down the chute, laundry chute. Anyway, so this, I don't know what I was thinking when I originally started making it. I don't know what size it was like supposed to be. But I figured out that I could keep, so I actually had a third fabric to use as a border. And that was like a blue floral, also from Joann's. But what I ended up deciding to do to make this big enough to go on the bed was, so the central panel is like 72 inches wide by 96 long or something. I decided to keep that, but then to make it more usable and to be able to put on our bed, and this is a trick I use on some other quilt designs I do a lot too, is to just cut, it's upside down, is to cut two just really long borders and just put a border strip on each side. So the main panel will look like this. Well, I was going to use this blue floral that I had bought with this, but it wasn't nearly enough to do that with. So I went digging in my stash. Anyway, I finished the green and white central portion here recently. And then I went digging in my stash, and I have a whole lot of this. It's one of the Blackbird designs. It came out a couple years ago, maybe. Blackbird Designs, one of their sampler fabrics. I don't remember the name of the line. Anyway, I thought that would be perfect and kind of fit the mood of the quilt. And I was just looking for some border strips to put on either side to provide some real drop on our bed. We like even big quilts on our bed. We have a queen size bed, but it feels like quilts are never big enough. Anyway, so I just sewed, I cut like a 15-inch strip, which I like how the placement turned out. You end up getting like a full width panel of the samplers. I cut a strip for each side and sewed it down either side. It's huge. And I'm calling it done. It's not like what my original vision was, but I really didn't want to go buy more fabric. I have a huge, huge, huge stash. But I didn't have anything somehow that like fit the aesthetic of the original I was going to use. Oh, no, I need to fold this back up. Bear with me. But I'm happy with this. I think it's a slightly different look than what I was originally going for. But I still like it. And so I've been in more of a like brighter kind of floral Victorian cottagey look vibe lately. My husband is a more muted guy. He's not like a he's not typically going to be like a Kansas City Troubles quilter kind of. Kansas City Troubles, that's it, right? You know, who's known for doing, like their fabrics are really dark. He's not like that. A lot of Civil War stuff is darker than what he's gonna like, but he tends to like not as bright as what I am typically gonna go for. You'll hear me talk about my husband a lot because he's very involved in my crafting life. He's very informed. He talks about, I mean, obviously he's sitting and using my serger right now. He's a great guy. So anyway, I try to do things that also make him happy. But this is like a good compromise, right? Like it's not super bright, but it's also not super dark. But this is much more his kind of quilting vibe, I guess I would say. And then I also, again, I was trying to find stuff from Stash to get this finished up. So we used to have in Pittsburgh, we used to have this store called Packetans, which was like a Michael's, and it was actually bought out by Michael's. But Packetans carried fabric, and at least the Michael's we have in its place now doesn't really. They've got a few bolts. It's not what Packetans used to sell, like some Riley Blake, like not a ton of it, but like some of it. Anyway, when Packetans went out of business, they did do like this epic clearance sale, and I bought some bolts of fabric, and this was one that I bought. It's just a dot, and so I have like a bolt of this sitting around, and this is a huge quilt. So this ends up being like 96 by 101 or something like that. Anyway, I ended up deciding to grab that. This is a little bit of a like make do with what you have, but since I used this sampler fabric, which has got this blue in it, which on camera I feel like is reading duller than it is in real life, I thought this would kind of like help tie everything together and would look nice. So anyway, that is, I just need to press that last seam for those two border strips that I put down, and then this is ready for the long armor. And this was a pieced backing, and it basically used up almost the entire bolt. So anyway, that was a good use of Stash, because I really don't know what else I would have used all of that blue for. Okay, the last thing I have to show you is I'm making a tumbling block quilt. I don't have something near me to put this down on. So I love really simple quilts. I really do. Like classic simple quilts. I really love them. So this was maybe a fat eighth bundle, maybe a fat quarter bundle, I'm not sure, of Ladies Legacy, which ages ago we cut up. So I have one of those AccuQuilt, the like things you crank with like the dies and it cuts out your fabric for you. I don't use them a ton, but this was did I say Ladies Legacy from Moda, I think. I had one of these and kind of didn't know what to do with it, and decided to turn it into a tumbling block quilt. So we cut up the whole bundle into tumbling blocks, and I am now going through. So I sewed all of them into pairs and pressed them, and now I did the math, and I think I decided I wanted like 31 or 32 or something rows, I don't remember. And so now I'm sewing the pairs together to make longer strips to get my rows. So these will go together. I have a whole basket of like hundreds, maybe more of these things. I put these together the right way. Nope, wrong way. Oh, I just need to offset them. These look, hands. These will go together kind of like that. And it's just super scrappy. It's just going to be a big quilt. I don't remember the exact size, but I think it's going to be a good twin size of just rows of these tumbling blocks. And I love that sort of quilt. Just super simple. It's kind of time consuming because the pieces are pretty little, but this is something that's fun and kind of easy for me to pick up when maybe I just have 15 or 20 minutes and I just feel like sewing. I can just pick that up and like make some progress on it. So that'll stay a whip for a while. I think that's it. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed my first quilting video of the new channel. That's kind of where I am right now. I'm going to finish up those 2 quilts again with the long armor as soon as possible. Make some progress on some other things. The English paper piecing's on hold for a while. And then who knows what you're going to see next time. Because so I should say, I don't show everything I've worked on in these videos. It's just too much. I have other quilts I've also been working on, either cutting or sewing, but maybe I don't have, I just remembered one really important one I didn't bring in here. I can't believe I didn't bring it in here. Kelly, Pages and Stitches, I'll link her below. She designed this amazing quilt, and I got the first block done, and I really wanted to show it. Forgot to bring it in here, so I'll show it on the next video. But if you aren't watching Kelly, her quilting videos, all of her videos, but if you're a quilter, her quilting videos especially, you should head over there and check them out because they're phenomenal. And she's designed a few quilts, and I love what she does. And this one she just designed here recently is stunning, and I can't wait to work on more of it. Anyway, that's it. Please feel free to comment below, ask me any questions you have, and hopefully I'll see you guys back here soon. Bye.